please. Thank you.
Mr. Page, whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning. Board of Liquor License Commissioners for Baltimore City proceedings will begin. The board is now in possession. If you have any type of electronic device, please place said device on the off or silent mode during proceedings. On the AM docket, the very first case, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, I call Anwan Yusuf and Donald Boardman, Jefferson Square Pizza, Inc., trading as Lido's Pizza, 101 North Wolf Street, Suite 5. This is a Class B beer, wine, and liquor license, an application for a new Class B beer, wine, and liquor restaurant license requiring $500,000 in capital investment in restaurant fixtures and facilities and seating capacity for a minimum of 75. Also, request for off-premise catering. Please come forward.
Counsel,
For the record, Melvin J. Kanensky representing the applicants.
good morning. Can I ask everyone who's going to testify to raise their right hand, please?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I swear.
Mr. Kudensky, it's a preliminary matter. Lido's Pizza showed up on my conflict sheet. Do you know whether they've ever been represented by my firm?
Not this particular applicant, and, Lido's is a national chain, but
Right.
no.
It's very likely they were on the other side of a matter, but they just show up, so. But no objection?
No objection.
Okay. Where are we?
All right, for the record, let me, once in a while when I get some nice things to hand out, I'll try to get them. I don't know whether you know where Jefferson Square is. It's next to John Hopkins. They put the apartment building. If I can.
The medical institution you're talking about.
John, yeah. Here's a copy of where it will go. And along with that, I would submit a letter from the manager of Jefferson Square at Washington Hill, which is the manager of the building itself. And the building has 304 apartment units, 95% occupied, and they're going to build another 200 apartment units right next to this building in the near future. The residents are looking forward to the Lido's Pizza sit-down restaurant, and also the community of Butchers Hill is also anticipating the restaurant, and people at Johns Hopkins. I'll give her a copy of that letter.
Thank you. Documents will be received.
In addition there too, we have, and I know most people are familiar with Lido's, but for the record, we give a copy of the menu, and this is a small version of the menu.
Thank you.
And I represent a couple other Lido's. Oops, I'm not getting a microphone. Her director will be down here in a second. They're rare that they are over 20% alcohol to their beverage, and this particular establishment will pretty much be the same. It'll provide food and drink for the area, the nurses, doctors, if they are going to have parties and so forth. The floor plan shows 122 seats.
Thank you.
Thanks. As far as the fingerprints, they have been fingerprinted, and we're waiting for the results. The capital investment for Lido's Pizza, I will now hand.
We can share. Give one to Ms. Russell.
And the backup for that is
Thank you.
they also were able to, in a time, to be able to get some of the parties that live in that area to sign a petition in favor. I only have one of these, and there's about 65 names on this petition. I only have one, I'm sorry. Just give, so you can see the names are people right around Fayette, Orleans Street, et cetera. It's been an area of real major development. The city has and John Hopkins put a fair amount of money in there. As I mentioned, Mr. Youssef said he'll have between 35 and 40 employees. He'll try to hire people from the neighborhood if possible. His managers will be alcohol certified. He will also make sure that other people who are waiting there take the TAM course and be normal hours of operation. It'll be rare they'll be open past 11, 12 probably, maybe on the weekends.
Can you tell us a little bit about Mr. Youssef's background?
Mr. Youssef is a pharmacist. He's been a pharmacist, and he'll tell you how long. He decided this was a good business opportunity. He liked Alito's Pizza business plan. He sat down with Alito's and saw this as a business opportunity. He has visited other Alito's pizzas, and he, of course, will make sure he hires, and he mentioned to you, managers who have experience in the restaurant business and primarily with the dispensing of alcohol.
Are you going to be primarily an investor, or are you going to be hands-on?
Give your name and
operator?
address when you answer the question.
This is Anwar Yusuf, 15028 Oak Ridge Court, Dayton, Maryland. Yes, sir, I'll be working at the location.
So you're not running a pharmacy or anything anymore?
I do have the pharmacist, but I do have staff. We have 5 staff pharmacists. We own 3 pharmacies. I am basically a doctor. I have a degree in doctor of pharmacy. So, basically it's management. And when we saw the location, I sat down with my accountant, we crunched numbers, and we wanted something that is local. Lido Pizza is local to Maryland. Their office is right here in Annapolis. They have a great deal of support. They have an HR person that helps hire the employees. And it's a whole system of, running the business. It's not, you could say, like, they're there for the support all the time. And there's a whole protocol of hiring a bartender, a bar manager, and then there's a whole series of, checks and balances.
So this is a franchise operation?
It is a franchise, yes, sir. It's about, I think they have 130 stores.
How many hours a week do you think you anticipate being there?
At least 35 to 40.
Okay. The commissioners have questions?
Is this the only, is this the only Lidos that you're involved with?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you familiar with the operations of the other Lidos in the city?
Yes, pretty much they have the same,
Okay. So I'm curious as to how you're going to actually be hands-on and present. How do you envision your day going?
I have staff pharmacists that work at the pharmacies. I don't go to the pharmacies, in the morning. My job is is management and marketing, and I go to different, we do disease state management, so I visit clinics and physicians. And they're at close proximity. They're not too far, right here on Cold Spring, York Road. So it's about 15-minute drive. So the way I've set up my, business plan is I don't go to the pharmacies every day. They're pretty much set and running. With the pharmacists, they've been working there, same employees for about 3 to 4 years. So they know how to, it's my job is to pay the bills and, make sure the compliance is there. This business, I had an interest, so I'm spending more time here. I don't go to the pharmacies. I come and I manage the business on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
Come in before lunch, make sure lunch is taken care of. So in about 2 to 3, about 3 o'clock, go over to the pharmacy. Basically, I don't, the pharmacists are working there. So I go and just sit for a couple of hours, and then I come back for the dinner time.
So the Lidos is already open and operating?
No, it's under construction.
It's under, so your plan, this is your plan?
Yes.
All right, so I want to talk about the capital investment. The largest portion of the investment is $421,000 to KH Best Construction. Have you actually spent any money, any of these funds
Yes.
for the
we have.
construction? And what are the actual expenses so far?
I'd have, it's a schedule of payments. I think maybe he's got almost over $300,000.
Okay, and you have receipts for everything? Because
Yes, we do.
we would need to actually see the $500,000 expenditure.
I've explained to him before the board would give the license, you have to show proof of payment of all those,
Mhm.
satisfactory to the board.
Okay. And you're going to be the 99% owner,
Yes,
is
ma'am.
that right? And you live in, looks like Dayton,
Dayton, Maryland. This
and where is that? I know it's not
is right next.
Ohio.
Yeah, I know. We always think of
Yeah.
Dayton, Ohio.
Yeah,
It's right next to Columbia. It's about 25 minutes. It's not that far.
25 minutes from Columbia or 25 minutes from the
No,
city?
25 coming here. It's right
Oh.
next to Columbia on Route 32.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you get on 32, 95 in downtown. Just
All right, and who is Donald Boardman? Is that you? And where do you live in Baltimore?
359 Homeland Southway,
So you live in Homeland,
Covens.
Govans?
Yeah.
Okay.
I used to live in Homeland Southway. I know where it is.
Yeah, well,
Many years ago.
Yeah,
It's a nice neighborhood.
I've been there for a while. It's nice.
Okay, and what is your plan in terms of relating to this business?
I am the designated signee, I guess, is what
Mhm.
it is.
So will you be there day to
I
day,
will
involved in
not
any
be
of the
there.
operations? Okay. Okay, those are all the questions that I have.
Just briefly, thank you for your investment, particularly in this neighborhood, but one point you raised, or I think Mr. Konensky raised, is your desire to hire from the neighborhood. Can you just explain that to the commission, what your plan is?
There's cooks, there's dishwashers, there's servers. So we need people that just walk up. There's a huge community behind us, Butcher Sills, and there's a lot of residents on the other side. So we're hiring all the people that can walk up, or because city, I don't think most people don't drive. So we want people from the neighborhood to walk up and work there, because it's a lot easier if somebody says my car broke down. But all the people we have interviewed so far, they're all local, and that's the best part. And like I said, we have an HR manager, and I sat through a lot of the interviews. Assistant managers. There's going to be 2 assistant managers, 1 general manager. Then there's it's not a full manager, but there's a bar manager, and there's an inside cook. So it's like it has a lot of pieces. But everybody, the staff, the general staff, like dishwashers, cooks, servers, front end coffee. There's a front end coffee. That lady, she's in the army, and she lives like 3 blocks away. So all the other people the cooks, they're like walking distance. We put a sign up on the window. People just started walking up and filling out the application. So
And
it's
just-
good.
And just briefly, is there opportunity for these folks to potentially be promoted within the franchise world in Lido's? Do you
Yes,
know? Okay,
definitely,
you've answered. Thank you.
So I just want, I don't play poker because everything is right on my face. So when you said that, you wanted to hire local because people in the city don't drive and people just walk up, I just wanted to say, be open to hiring people at the higher levels with the higher income and the higher wages that drive or walk up. There's a great employee pool in the city.
No, no, we do.
And I just hope you're open to that. I just
we are
have to
open.
say
It's
it.
not like that. The cooking staff is going to be. If I get a good manager, because inclement weather, if I have a good manager living 2 streets away, I would rather have that person. This is like I'm drawing my experience from the pharmacies. If you have a pharmacist who lives like, let's say, Frederick.
As we would say East Jesus. but
Yes.
Yeah.
So Frederick, and it's how the weather is. It snows 1 inch, and everybody, city shuts down.
That's true in
So,
in Baltimore. That's
in
very
Baltimore. So the streets. So I want somebody who's local. So I'm drawing my,
Okay.
the work experience of this. Since 2001, my running of the pharmacies, that you need people that are accessible. They can come, and rather than somebody call out and say like, okay, I can't make it, then Mr. Anwar has to get up and get the SUV out and go.
True. Drive from Dayton, Ohio, and yeah.
So remember the blizzard in 2002?
Yes.
I didn't have, we only had 2 pharmacies. I dug my trench while it was snowing because I wanted to get to the pharmacy in the morning. And then I got there, nobody showed up. But, that's the, you could say, professional,
Yeah.
that you have in there that, you got to be there. So
Yeah. You've given it a lot of thought. I went to college in Maine. The more snow, the better. But
Exactly.
I'm weird that way.
Where did you go to college?
Bates College. Where did you go?
I went to Kents Hill Prep School.
Oh, okay. Sure. Sure.
Anything
Great.
further?
Thanks.
Okay, Mr. Yusuf, you, besides being a professional pharmacist, you seem to be a successful businessman, and you've operated things that are under strict regulation for drugs and that sort of thing.
Oh, yes.
But to the extent that this new business is going to have alcohol sales, you're going to be under a different set of regulations. So hire a good manager, make sure everybody's properly trained so that you can avoid any further problems with us, and make sure you're a good member of the community so that you get along well with the people in the community and you shouldn't have any problems from us. Having said all that, I would vote to approve the application.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman.
Wait.
I concur. I approve as well.
And I concur as well. Thank you for the investment.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have a good day. Good luck.
Thank you.
Significant.
Oh, piece of paper, and call me.
We didn't ask about outdoor dining. It's another day.
Call exhibits for the record. Exhibit 1, photos. Applicant Exhibit 2, letter of support from Jefferson Square and Washington Hill. Applicant Exhibit 3, menu. Applicant Exhibit 4, floor plan. Applicant Exhibit 5, capital investment. Exhibit 6, construction project. And Exhibit 7, petition of support. Thank you.
Number 2 on the AM docket, Mr. Chairman, Chamika Okaru, sole proprietorship, trading as Steak Bar, 101 West Lexington Street. This is a Class B beer, wine, and liquor license. An application for a new Class B beer, wine, and liquor restaurant license requiring $200,000 in capital investment in restaurant fixtures and facilities and seating capacity for a minimum of 75 people. Requesting live entertainment, outdoor table service, and off-premise catering. Please come forward.
For the record, Melvin J. Kanensky representing the applicant. This is an application,
Excuse me, before you go, can I swear him in, please? Sir, would you raise your right hand, please?
But do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
And Mr. Konensky, Mr. Okuro's name showed up on my list, too. Do you know whether he's ever been represented by my law firm?
that you haven't been represented by his law firm. Do you know who represented you?
Whiteford, Taylor, and Preston.
I don't
Are
think
you
so.
familiar with the Whiteford, Taylor, Preston law firm?
Yes, I am.
Have you ever had, okay. No objection?
No objection.
All
This is an application for a restaurant. It's about 76 seats. It's on the, at 101 West Lexington. I know all of you probably remember going to Planter's Peanuts. I know you did. No?
No.
Wow, that's a first.
would I
Planters
go
used
to
to be,
Planters?
they were there forever. Planters was there forever. Now, they moved up on Charles Street now. But it's on the corner, and that block in there, I guess you don't remember Breaker Gutman's or Heck
I
Company.
do remember, of
No,
course,
okay.
well, Heck Company, who,
So, that's an area that's undergoing some change. It's been sort of closed and run down. I do have some more. These, and of course, the applicant's going to tell you that these buildings look a lot better than Mr. Google gave me a map on it. And he'll tell you how much money he's invested so far. If I can, oops.
Board as well. Oh,
Yes. Yeah, thank you.
thanks.
Just to give you a general idea of the location, and
By Cathedral Street?
Yes.
Yeah. it's on a corner.
Yeah.
Cathedral becomes Liberty Street.
Right, Liberty.
You're right. I
Gas and
apologize.
electric building, that's how
Yes.
Thank you.
the particular,
this is yours.
I recognize him. This is a floor plan, 76 seats total.
Thank you. Documents will be received.
Along with that. Did I do that?
Doesn't matter, don't worry.
Copy of the proposed menu.
Thanks.
I think it might have been in your packet, but.
I think it was, but
Got this.
you're going to have non-fattening burgers.
Most definitely so. Most definitely.
I see that you have been given a copy of the letter from the Downtown Partnership, but I have another, I guess maybe an original. Let's put it that way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Also have a letter from a gentleman on the same block who knows the type of work that has been done here, Mr. Okoro. He also is on that same block. He has another business on Baltimore Street also. Just like his name, Boris. Nice name, Boris Battenhoff.
I know.
What's the matter with you? In addition, there too, he has a list of the capital investment, and then he has not made this investment yet. He has started on the building. The building on the corner you see there has a little restaurant carryout. He's right next to it, and he'll explain that to you. And I explained to him that before, if the board would grant it, he has to prove that he made all these payments. He'll tell you how he rehabilitated other properties downtown and what he's done so far. And his total cost here are approximately over $275,000. He will have people from the neighborhood as much as he can to there be a smaller place, and I don't think we have between 7 and 10 employees, which will all be alcohol certified. As far as any type of music or so forth, he would basically have 2 or 3 places, maybe jazz band, acoustical, and outdoor table service would be 2 or 3 tops out in front. As you can see, the area out in front, it has space for some tables for outdoor dining. I explained to him that the outdoor dining service is only for people who are buying food products. Would you state your name and address for the record, please?
Chukwemeko
Closer.
Okoro, 124B North Liberty Street, Baltimore, Maryland 21201.
Now, you're making this application. What else have you done in the city? What other kind of projects have you been involved in?
So I've been involved in real estate development in Baltimore City since 2003. Specifically in the West Side area, I've been involved in developed 7 properties in that immediate area, transforming vacant property into mixed use, retail on the first floor, apartments on the second and third floor. I've been in that area since 2008 doing that.
And in this project here, you developed the place on the corner, which now has a restaurant carryout in, is that correct?
Yes,
What
yes.
is that called, sir?
Ratitos. Just opened up maybe 4 weeks ago.
So is that here on this?
Yes,
corner? Okay.
exactly. If you mention my name, I know you could get a good price.
Okay.
I
I'll only
don't
be
think
able
you
to
should
mention
do
your last
that.
name, though, I'm afraid.
For the record, the chairman's joking.
Like you say, let the record so indicate, council will so stipulate, but proceed.
Yeah. So
On the record and totally a joke.
How many employees do you think you would have there?
between maybe 8 and 10 employees. The next door building's just opened up. It's a carryout that has seating for maybe, I think it's six tables in there, which is doing pretty well. My plan is to work with the owner of that business, that establishment, and he'll manage the operations of the new restaurant.
So are you going to be on site as well?
Oh, at least 30 to 40 hours a week. As you could see, my kind of residence office is just around the corner on North Liberty Street. So I've kind of strategically kind of set it up so that it'll be easy for me to be on site.
Now, you know that I had given you a letter that was sent in by some of your neighbors, and you know them.
Very well, yes. I
You
do.
talk to them every day.
At most
Are these
days.
business owners in the area? Is that what they are? Yes.
And you don't plan on having a liquor store. You're strictly a restaurant, correct?
Strictly a restaurant that's going to serve liquor.
On it. And you'll make sure your people are alcohol certified, and you know, when you buy your product, you have to buy it from a wholesaler,
Most definitely.
no
yeah.
liquor store purchases.
Yeah, better prices.
Okay.
Just one, is anyone here who has submitted this letter? Is there anyone present in opposition to this application? Okay, thank you.
You had just saw the lady this morning, you said.
Yeah, she waved at me, gave me a big smile.
Ooh,
She was
that's
your friend up till
dangerous.
now.
Oh, I know.
You don't want
I
them
didn't know how to
smiling at
take
you.
it.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to take it.
Lizzie, well, never mind.
Do the commissioners have questions?
Just to be very, very clear, this is a restaurant. People will sit down, they'll eat, they'll have a little drink. It's not a packaged goods store. It's not a liquor store as was described in the letter of opposition that we received.
100% no. It is a restaurant first that will provide alcohol to its patrons
If they want it.
if they want it, of
Right.
course.
So you mentioned you're going to be on site 30 to 40 hours a week, but you're also bringing someone in to manage who's already sort of nearby.
Yes.
How's that going to work? I mean, could you just define the roles for us a little bit better?
So I have a lot of experience managing, pulling the right people together, kind of creating a profitable business. But I don't have the experience of running a restaurant. So I've spoken to a number of people. I've had a number of guys who are interested, but I'm interested in the guy next door who initially I brought him into the space because of our agreement that he's going to be part of this new venture. He's done it. He currently has a restaurant in Owens Mills. He's doing a very good job so far. I've seen how he's kind of managed the kind of day-to-day, food preparation, etc., with the cooks, etc. So that's going to be his role. My role is going to make sure he does as he promises he's going to do.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
So one of the points, there's a couple points in the letter of opposition I just wanted to be clear on.
Yes.
One is that you will have live music, assuming we approve this. How do you intend, and outside tables, how do you intend to control the noise? How do you intend to control the foot traffic so it doesn't impede or damage the neighboring merchants?
So noise above that the establishment are apartments, and they're my priority. Even though I have 2-hour fire separation and enough soundproofing from the ground floor to the apartments above, but the music isn't going to be any kind of like rock bands or anything like that. It's just going to be. I vision that it's going to be jazz, going to be a couple of pieces of instruments and nothing loud. If it's going to disrupt the apartments above or the immediate community, I'll shut it down. It's not that's not the priority. What I am trying to do is create a kind of energy in an area that for the last decade or so has pretty much been dead. And so far with the opening of the corner carry-out stroke a restaurant, the energy is starting to come back. People around are excited about it. The big apartment buildings opposite utilizing it, getting a little bit more foot traffic, positive foot traffic from professional people who ordinarily are going elsewhere in the city when they want something to eat. So I'm imagining that the introduction of this restaurant is just going to add to that dynamic, positive dynamic.
Great. And just, I assume, yes or no on this, I assume your counsel has told you that that oftentimes folks around your business may complain about noise or other issues. So my suggestion, respectfully, is that, assuming it's approved, that you're proactive in reaching out to the folks that are above your restaurant so that they come to you and you have an open line of communication.
Most definitely.
Thank you.
Most definitely.
And do you live in the area, sir?
Yes. Yeah. I stay there usually Monday through Friday. Weekends, I travel out.
I just had one thing I wanted to just highlight. In the letter from your neighbors, there was a statement that they felt that your restaurant is not consistent with the downtown partnerships plan and the master plan for that area. And specifically, they felt that it should just be strictly retail. But we did receive a letter from the downtown partnership. And have you received that letter, or have you seen that letter? Has it been shared with you? And specifically, it's signed by Davon Barber, who's the Vice President of Economic Development. And it states that the addition of your restaurant advances the goals of the 2011 Downtown Strategic Plan. Specifically, the plan calls for the pursuit and support of ground floor retail and dining throughout the Downtown Management Authority. So I just think that should be in the record. And it also suggests to me that when you have the opportunity to talk with your neighbors, that you have constructive conversation, that your place does advance the plan, and there's synergies that can be achieved by working together.
Yes, madam.
Thank you, Commissioner Moore, because I noticed that there was conflict between their perceptions of that as well, and I think they need to be advised of what the real position is of the downtown partnership. Anything further? Okay, Mr. Okoro, we appreciate your taking on this and trying to develop a nice business in that area, and based on your responses to our questions and the documents that have been received in support of your application, I'd vote to approve.
Thank you, sir.
I vote to approve.
Thank you, madam.
I agree. Best of luck.
Thank you.
I'd like to call exhibits for the record. Exhibit 1, photos. Exhibit 2, floor plan. Exhibit 3, menu. Exhibit 4, letter of support from Downtown Partnership dated March 31st, 2017. Exhibit 5, letter of support from neighboring business dated May 17th, 2017. And Exhibit 6, capital investment. Thank you.
Good luck, sir.
Andrew Hotchkiss and Kevin Butler, Hammerjacks Entertainment Group LLC, trading as Hammerjacks, 1300-20 Russell Street. This is a Class B beer, wine, and liquor arena license. An application for a new Class B beer, wine, and liquor arena license, which authorized the license holder to sell beer, wine, and liquor by the drink and by the bottle within the arena from one or more outlets for on-premise consumption, with a minimum capital investment of $1 million and minimum seating 1,000 people as determined by the city fire department. Please come forward and raise your right hand.
Oh, my goodness.
Counsel, you want to identify yourself first?
Thank you. Caroline Hecker, Rosenberg, Martin Greenberg, on behalf of the applicant. I'm joined by my colleague, Justin Williams, as well as the two individual licensee applicants, Andy Hotchkiss and Kevin Butler, our general manager, Steve Kitchis, our co-counsel, Frank Boston, and a representative of the citizens of Pigtown, Brendan Cannon.
Good morning, everyone. Please raise your right hands.
Do you swear or affirm that, raise your right hand, please?
If you're gonna speak, please raise.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, and when you do testify, please step forward to the microphone because we're being recorded and we need to do that. Before you begin, Counsel, the names Kevin Butler and Hammerjack showed up on my conflict sheet. Do we have a conflict?
Not that I'm aware of, but Kevin?
No, not at all.
Okay, no objection then?
No objection.
All right, you may proceed.
Thank you. With your permission, I'd like to proceed by way of a proffer, and obviously we're all here to answer any questions that the board may have. This is an application for a new Class B arena license for the new Hammerjacks that will be opening on Russell Street. As Mr. Page indicated, the requirements for the license are a seating capacity, or fire capacity of 1,000 people and a minimum capital investment of $1 million. Here we have a capacity of just over 4,000 people. It's close to 4,100 people. And the capital investment for the Hammerjacks exceeds $16 million, of which $13 million is in hard costs. The licensed premises will be 1300 to 1320 Russell Street. It is on the opposite side of Russell Street from the stadium and the casino. It's partially where the Club Paradox had been located. They closed last year after many, many years in operation. They were at 1310 Russell Street. And then there's an adjacent building to that at 1300 Russell Street that is part of this project as well. The city's long-term plan for this area is to create an entertainment district connecting the M&T Bank Stadium with the casino in an area that would have restaurant, shopping, hotels, and other entertainment venues. And I've included, Mr. Williams has handed up a folder full of exhibits, and you'll see there's an excerpt from the South Baltimore Gateway Master Plan in that file that recommends the designation of this area as an entertainment district, and the proposed Hammerjacks is consistent with that plan. The property is currently zoned M23, which allows the restaurant and tavern uses, including live entertainment and dancing by right, and there's a letter from the zoning administrator confirming that it's permitted by right in the current zoning designation. The property is being rezoned to the C4 district under Transform Baltimore, which allows these uses by right as well. That goes into effect on June 5th. So you may be familiar with Hammerjacks. They were a renowned rock club in the area in the 80s and 90s. They closed in 1997 to make way for M&T Stadium. They were located on Howard Street back then. There was another venue that opened as Hammerjacks in 2000 on Guilford Avenue. That one didn't fare as well as the original. It closed in 2006. But in its heyday, Hammerjacks had really been a premier music venue for rock bands. It was rated by VH1 as one of the best rock venues. And Mr. Hotchkiss and Mr. Butler have acquired the rights to the name Hammerjacks, and they want to reestablish the brand for a new generation of music lovers.
Is it just a local brand, or is it elsewhere, Hammerjacks?
It's a local brand. There,
It's only locally.
yeah. There are a couple of press articles in the file that I've handed out that talk a little bit about the proposal to reopen the Hammerjacks. And then the larger document that Mr. Williams handed out in the fancy large size bound together thing is a copy of our.
Beautiful.
Yes, exactly.
Whose idea was this? Caroline. Very nice.
I'll let, yeah.
Mr. Williams, okay.
Right. It's a copy of the presentation that was made to the Urban Design and Architectural Review Panel. It shows some renderings of the new building and the way we're laying out the inside. What we're proposing to do is demolish the building that was formerly Paradox, the 1310 Russell Street building, and construct a new concert venue on that space. And then
Paradox lost.
I think that was another joke.
Every now and then, I mean,
Nice.
there we go.
It's Milton-esque.
And then we're going so we're going to demolish that one, and then we're going to renovate the other one, the other building for use as a club, sports bar area. There will also be an outdoor beer garden in between the two buildings. They'll all be connected inside. It's a two-story. They're both two-story buildings. There'll be second floor space with a private event space on the club building, as well as some offices and additional bar area up there. The capital investment breakdown is in the file. As I said, it represents a capital investment in total of over $16 million, of which a little over $13 million is in hard costs. They've spent some of that already doing interior demolition, and they're going to be moving forward with the project once the liquor license is approved. The plan will create about 250 construction jobs, as well as approximately 115 to 140 new jobs once the Hammerjacks opens. They are committed to hiring locally. There's a copy of a report from Morgan Keller on their proposed economic impact in the file as well. With regard to the day-to-day operation, both Mr. Butler and Mr. Hotchkiss will be involved in the day-to-day operation of Hammerjacks. They have hired Mr. Kitchis, who's here as well, as the general manager. Mr. Kitchis has 39 years of experience in the music industry. He has managed the 930 Club and Meriwether Post Pavilion. He was also a manager at the original incarnation of Hammerjacks back in the day. The food and beverage component will be operated by Spectrum Catering, which is a national hospitality management group. They have the food and beverage concession locally at the Hippodrome and at the Meyerhoff Symphony Hall. So they have some good track record here locally from the food and beverage end. The concert venue, as I said, is about 2,500 person capacity. We expect that we'll have about 125 nights a year of concerts in the concert venue. We don't expect that all of them are going to be sellout crowds of 2,500 people. The space is designed so that it can be flexed down to accommodate smaller crowds. We have to deal with the egos of, rock stars who want to feel like they're playing to a full house even when they're really not. So we don't expect that there'll be sellout crowds of 2,500 people every night, but we do think that probably 20 or 30 nights a year we'll have a maximum capacity event. We are committed to not having ticketed events at Hammerjacks at the same time that there are major events going on in the M&T Stadium to avoid conflicts with parking and traffic and all of that. That would include Ravens games as well as things like the Army-Navy game or a Metallica concert, that kind of thing.
And really, are there any actual residents
Not
adjacent?
in the immediate vicinity.
That's
The closest residents are probably they're several blocks away at Scott and Austin. It's probably, yeah, the Pigtown. And we'll hear from the representative from the citizens of Pigtown as well.
Okay.
On nights when we're not having concerts, and actually on nights we're having concerts too, we also have this bar club area in the second building that's being refurbished, as well as the outdoor beer garden area. The maximum capacity in that portion of the building is about 1,600 people. That includes a 200-person private event space, as well as the outdoor space, which has a capacity of about 500 people. That's obviously seasonal only, weather permitting. So, we think of the total 1,600 people that would be in that bar and club area, as a practical matter, is probably going to be less than 1,600 on a day-to-day basis. We're also hoping that there will be a lot of spillover between people who are coming for a concert, who come early and have dinner and then go next door to the concert portion of the facility, particularly since tailgating is not going to be allowed during concert events the way it is during Ravens events. The hours of operation of the club and sports bar are expected to be 11 a.m. to midnight. On nights when there are concerts, they'll stay open till 2. In terms of off-street parking, we have more than enough parking provided. We have been working very closely with owners of the parking lots that are located in the vicinity. Primarily, we'll be providing parking on lots N and NN, which are two of the Ravens lots that are controlled by a private party. We've entered into an agreement with them. There are 440 spaces located in those two lots. The zoning code will require 1 parking space per 10 persons of fire-rated capacity. So we have over enough parking spaces just in those 2 lots alone, but we've also obtained control of the lot at Ridgely and Austin Street, which has an additional 38 spaces, which brings us up to a parking ratio of about 1 space per 8.6 people of rated capacity. We're also working with the owners of several other parking lots in the immediate vicinity, which are various city entities. There's a parking lot on Alluvion Street that has 38 spaces. There's 42 spaces in the lot under the Russell Street overpass. And Lot O, which is controlled by BDC, has an additional 690 spaces, which would get us up to over 1,200 parking spaces and a parking ratio of about 1 space per 3.3 people of rated capacity. There are also about 54 on-street parking spaces located in the immediate vicinity of this site without getting into the residential area. We're planning to make it as easy as possible for people to get here. We understand that people want to get here safely. They want to know that they can come and go. We're also encouraging ride sharing through Uber and Lyft, and we're working with both Uber and Lyft, but we'd love to be able to create a designated Lyft or Uber spot where they could basically, almost like a taxi stand, where they would be readily available for people coming and going. We want people to come to Hammerjacks, have a good time, but we want them to be responsible and not drink and drive. So, to the extent that they can use these ride-sharing facilities, we fully support that. In terms of security, the success of Hammerjacks is really going to be dependent on people feeling safe coming and going. And so we have a very robust security budget in our pro forma. We have almost $1 million budgeted for security. We will be engaging a private security contractor who will implement industry best practices for managing the security of the operation, and including security cameras as well as personnel and improvements to lighting and visibility outside and pedestrian crossings to the parking area. We'll also be in regular contact with the police substation that's at the casino across the way. And in terms of the alcoholic beverages aspect, all of our management and bar staff will be tip certified. We plan to card everyone who appears to be under 40 years old. We're very aware of the seriousness of not serving to minors, and we take that very seriously.
You're going to be having rock concerts. My guess is you're going to get more of them than you are of my friends.
Maybe. I don't know. Right. Right.
Oh, yeah.
Right. We also have, plans to make the area feel very safe and clean in terms of, we're not going to have tailgating out in the parking lot, so we don't expect the level of trash outside to anywhere come close to where it is on Ravens days, but we will be patrolling an area of 1 block around our facility just to make sure that we keep it clean and free from litter and other debris. We've been working very closely with the citizens in Pigtown and the Pigtown Community Association. You'll see letters of support from both groups in the file. We've done an extensive amount of community outreach. We have a representative from the citizens of Pigtown here with us as well, who is down there on the end, Brendan. We'll let him say a few words in a moment. We also have letters of support in the file from our 2 immediate neighbors in the industrial area, Pico Industries and XL Machines, as well as Caves Valley Partners, which is one of the big developers in the area. They have significant interests in making sure this entertainment district works well for all parties. The individual licensee applicants, as I said, are Mr. Hotchkiss and Mr. Butler. They're both authorized individuals of Hammerjacks Entertainment Group LLC. Each of them holds a 50% interest in the business. They both understand that they are responsible for following the rules and regulations of the City Liquor Board. They have reviewed those and agree to abide by them. With regard to the license requirements, we will have a minimum capacity of well over 1,000 people. The concert venue alone has a capacity of 2,500 people. In total, we'll have a capacity of 4,100 people when you add the 1,600 people in the bar club area. We'll also have a capital investment that well exceeds the $1 million requirement. As I said, our capital investment is over $16 million with a little over $13 million in hard costs. With regard to the criteria the board's required to consider in approving the application, the public need and desire for the license is demonstrated not only by the South Baltimore Master Plan, the Gateway Master Plan, which calls for the development of an entertainment district in this area, but also the letters of support that we've received from our immediate neighbors and from the 2 community groups in the area. We don't expect that the issuance of the license will have any impact on the number and location of existing licensees. In terms of the music venue component, there are no other music venues that are this size in Baltimore. And Ram's Head Live, for example, has a capacity of about 1,500 people, and that makes it a little bit too small for bands that are coming, say between Washington and Philadelphia. They skip Baltimore because there isn't a venue of the right size for them. And so we hope to fill that niche and be able to attract some bands that wouldn't otherwise be stopping in Baltimore. In terms of other licensees in the immediate vicinity, the closest, I think, is probably the Horseshoe Casino, and having the additional license in this area sort of furthers the development of this entertainment district. We're, I think, probably pioneers out here in the entertainment district area. We're going to be one of the first groups that comes in, and we expect that there will be others, and we encourage that. As I said, we do offer a potential uniqueness of services. The capacity level that we'll have here is unique to Baltimore, and we expect that, like I said, we'll be able to draw some bands that otherwise wouldn't be coming through this area. And we don't expect to have an impact on health, safety, or general welfare. We expect this to be a positive development for the neighborhood. And again, we have the letters of support from the community associations in the file. That's all I have. With that, I'd request that the board approve the license. I know we have a bunch of people here. I don't know if anyone wants to say anything. I'd like to ask Mr. Cannon to say a few words on behalf of the citizens of Pigtown, if
You
he
have to
would.
step up to the microphone,
Why
sir.
don't you come up here?
If you don't mind, right? And spell your last name, please.
My name is Cannon, C-A-N-N-O-N. I can't speak for the entire organization, but I do live in Pigtown. I'm really excited for Hammerjacks and for the.
And you're on the board, right?
I am on the board, but I'm not speaking for everybody. Just myself. I just wanted to take time to come and support these guys. I think it's going to be great for the neighborhood. Nothing over there at the moment. Would love to have something positive and keep the money over on that side of town.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
I have a question for the owners. If you're each 50% owners, what happens when you disagree? Flip a coin?
Well, we're actually going to have a board of people behind us that will.
I'm actually taller, so we'll.
I am shorter.
But you have longer hair.
I do.
I think.
But that's to donate. I'm eventually going to be donating.
Any rest?
Sorry.
I see no.
So you'll fight it out.
For the sake of the record, one person speak at a time.
Commissioners, do you have questions?
I did. The person who just testified for the community, was it Citizens
Citizens of Pigtown.
of Pigtown? That you testify, you're a member.
I'm a member, but I'm here on my own accord.
All right, could you come up to the mic? I just have just a couple questions. We do have a letter from Citizens of Pigtown. I know you're speaking just for yourself, but you're on the board. This was discussed at the board level.
Correct.
And we got a letter of support. So you would agree that the board
Correct.
is in support, and I'm asking this because it's rare that we get letters of support for something this big and something that has the potential to make this much have this much impact on the community. But when this came up, there was agreement. Y'all sent the letter, and you're just putting an additional weight
Correct.
behind
I'm
that
coming
support.
in just-
Okay,
Yep.
got it. Thank you.
Great.
If I could, one thing Kevin wanted me to mention, Frank Boston III for the record. In regards to parking, as Caroline has already articulated, we meet the requirements, we meet the standard, but we are continuing to have started negotiations with the Maryland Stadium Authority. So that is ongoing as we speak to include the Lotto and the. If you know the stadium, the area right under the Russell Street Bridge, there are 56 extra spots there It's during Ravens games, it's where they allow the handicap or people handicap parking. So that's ongoing. We are going to get that number down, and I'll keep you posted on that.
Because the parking is sort of the one of the bigger, it's parking and noise are the big issues. And, I mean, y'all have done a tremendous job already making sure that there's parking. My question was whether you would have access to any of the parking at the casino. That might be a challenge, but.
Well, so we are very friendly with the Caves Valley folks, and we have been in talks with them. I mean, right now, anybody can park at the casino, I believe, but we haven't officially made an agreement with them that we can park there, simply, again, because we already had fit the code, and now we're going to try to better everything to get more parking.
Okay.
So those are going on as well.
Okay, super. That's terrific. Because you're so close to the casino and they have their events, have you talked about, are there any concerns about competition? Do you foresee conflict there?
We don't think there's going to be any conflict. We think that there's going to be great synergy between
Okay.
events that, yeah. And we think that's the goal of this entertainment district that the city wants to create, that people will come down and they'll, go from venue to venue to venue. And we think it's actually really great that we're going to be in this area.
Okay,
And not only do we think so, they think so, and that's why they've written a letter of support.
super. The other question, maybe it's just there's a lot of questions. It's exciting. This is one of the larger investments that we've seen. And I guess in our term, Pendry Hotel, it's just a huge investment. And my question always is, I know why I would do it in Baltimore, but why are you all investing in Baltimore in such big numbers?
I'll start and Kevin can go. But Kevin and I are both third-generation Marylanders. I was born and raised here. I know the people. I love Maryland. It's my home. And being that Baltimore gets overlooked a lot for investment, I do a lot of work in D.C., which does not get overlooked. And so for us, Baltimore was because of the brand. Baltimore loves its brands, Ravens, Domino Sugar, all the above. And so it's very important that this brand be bought back in Baltimore. And that's a major aspect of why we're doing this, because it is Baltimore.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so Kevin Butler, 1706 Saddle Drive, Gambrels, Maryland, 21054. 2009, when I purchased the intellectual property of Hammerjacks, at that point, you go through the trademark process and it comes out 6 months later, like, wow, I was a fan of Hammerjacks. College days, 86, going to Maryland, going to Hammerjacks from 86 to 1990. It was very apparent 2010, 2011, that the value of this brand was not just Baltimore and the region, it was a national brand. I had, many underground trademark guys from New York, San Francisco, Boston trying to buy this for 7 figures, and I paid $500 to trademark it. So I quickly found.
There's the story. There's the book.
So one day, I'm a Raven season ticket holder, and I remember Hammerjacks at Howard Street. I was walking over the Austin Street Bridge. I said, wow, if you're ever going to bring this back, the casino was coming out of the ground. I heard about the new Gateway project. What a great place to put it would be in this area. So, I spent the next 2 years looking at 3 other properties on Warner Street, and we were very close to having a deal done on Lot N with Mark Saperstein, but we had some issues with parking garage because the MSA controls that parking. So I looked across the lot one day. I said, "That's the building." And the day I looked across, they were putting a for lease sign on the building. And Andy and I had met a year earlier because we were with Carol Camden, with Mark and Stanley, getting support for Lot N, and he always supported the project.
Well, we've also owned the building since 1986, so we're long in that area.
So that's kind of the story of how we landed there. So
Okay,
yeah.
great. Well, thank you very, very much. Thank you.
This is a terrific, I think this is a terrific project. I have some actually questions focused on the actual concert venue a little bit, if you could help walk me through that. Will Hammerjacks primarily be a hard rock club?
No. Hammerjacks will be a house for all music,
All
from
music.
country to hard rock to anything that's relevant and can sell tickets.
Great. And what is your target age that you're trying to for customers?
Target age would be 18 plus or 21 and over. We're not going after young. We're definitely going for the 21 and over crowd, but we're not going for the younger crowd.
Okay.
if that's the question.
Yeah, no, it is, and obviously, if there are younger folks there, you will make sure that they're appropriately. And then, yeah, I assume you're agreeing. And then lastly, what kind of response or support are you seeing from artists who previously played at Hammerjacks?
A ton. We actually are in the process of doing a rockumentary, and maybe Kevin can say some of the names because I'm a little bit younger than him and I don't have all that knowledge. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's why we don't disagree that much. We get along. But I mean, Iron Maiden.
Yes, so we're currently working, we got a producer, a local film producer that's doing the Hammerjacks rockumentary called Encore. And this thought came about a year ago, to pay the history of the club since 1977. And to date, he's got 87 bands, national bands, being interviewed with the likes of Iron Maiden, I mean, you know, Def Leppard, Poison, all the bands that played there, you know, and many more to come. And we've got some bites from the New York, the MTVs and all that are getting involved in this thing. So that's taken on a life of its own. But to get back to the genres, we're going to market the millennials. You know, the college, I went there when I was 22, 3, 4, 5. My son's 24 years old. All his friends can't wait to go there. And they're not listening to hard rock today, right? So they're listening to the new rock or whatever they're listening to. So that's our target audience. But I will tell you this, there's going to be many private events done there, and also many nights going back to the 80s. We could have disco night, we could have 90s night.
Go to that.
Yeah, right. So
We'll sign up for that.
we really are creating, and the vision here at the beginning was to create an entertainment destination that not only Baltimore and the region can be proud of. That's important to us.
I think that's terrific, and the location's great too, because it's right on the highways. I just want to disclose that you had mentioned the rockumentary. It's come to my attention that one of my best friends from college, Steve Narangis, is actually involved in that project, so I just want to disclose that.
Yes.
And I don't know if you saw when Metallica was in town, Lars, the drummer for Metallica, actually mentioned Hammerjacks 3 times in his interview on Channel 2 without being asked about it. He just brought it up.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, the only time I went to Hammerjacks, I saw Martin O'Malley perform. So please call him.
Okay.
Okay.
O'Malley's March.
O'Malley's March.
Okay. Anything further?
No.
All right. Well, that was a very comprehensive presentation, Ms. Hecker, as always. And I think you've addressed the significant issues that are before us in terms of approving a project, particularly of this dimension, because it's a very substantial undertaking. And as everyone has said, we appreciate that investment in Baltimore and wish you great success. It's a challenge to operate something of this magnitude. I'm glad that your man here has so much experience, because in terms of the security and the parking and the young people, I'm too old to even think about undertaking it, but God bless you, and I hope it works. So on the basis of all that has been presented to us that we've received, I would vote to approve the application.
Right. It's fantastic. It's exciting. It sort of hits all of the bells and whistles. For me, it's a strong yes, but primarily it's a strong yes because you got the community support. And for me, as if the community supports it, there's one woman who I think is sort of the Baltimore cheerleader. Her name is Beth Hawks. I don't know if you've met Beth, but she didn't say no, so therefore it's a yes. So I say yes.
And I concur with my colleagues. A wholehearted yes. Sounds like you've anticipated all potential issues, and I suspect if any that are unanticipated, you'll address them as well. So I concur with my colleagues, and just want to add to congratulations to Mr. Boston for his daughter graduating NYU.
Thank you.
Fabulous.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good luck, folks.
Thank you.
Do you want these back? Okay. I'll use it for my pass to get.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All the exhibits for the
Congratulations.
Record, applicant Exhibit 1, business plan package. Board Exhibit 1, letter of support from citizens of Pigtown. Board Exhibit 2, letter of support, Cays Valley Partners. And Board Exhibit 3, letter of support, Pigtown Community Association. Thank you.
Number 4 on the AM docket, Barbara Sumner, Michael Miller, and William Keller, Baltimore Kickers, Inc., trading as Baltimore Kickers, 4810 Gunther Avenue. This is a Class C beer, wine, and liquor license. An application for a new Class C beer, wine, and liquor nonprofit private club license. The Class C beer and wine and liquor license shall be located in the 45th Legislative District. Please come forward and raise your right hands.
Your name, counsel?
For the record, Melvin J. Kaninsky, representing the applicants.
Good morning or afternoon, I think.
Good afternoon.
Bryson, whenever you're ready.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
And Mr. Kaninsky, Michael Miller showed up on my sheet. Do we have a conflict?
No.
Okay, thank you.
This is an application for a no Class C license for the Baltimore Kickers, Inc., and I'm going to give you a little rundown on them, and it's a very interesting history that they have. It's a German group that was formed in 1953, and for the longest time, they were at 25 South Broadway, which is right off of Baltimore Street. And they have a lot of local events they have, and where they met and so forth. And they sold the building. One of the problems they had on Broadway was they had no parking. So as a result of that, a few years ago, they sold the property, and they had a chance to buy the Hamilton Pigeon Club. Now, I can't imagine any of you know anything about pigeon clubs, okay? But I do, but I won't bore you with it, okay? And the Hamilton Pigeon Clubs, they used to have a lot of them, and now they're down to one or two that are maybe left, where they take racing pigeons across the United States. They sold the property to this entity. What they have here is probably parking for maybe 60 to 100 cars. They have about 200 members that belong to the group. They had a license on 25 South Broadway. I'm going to give you a copy of it. They were in the 46th district. Couldn't move to this district. We had originally talked to Senator McFadden as to whether or not we need a statutory authority. Thankfully, he created the statute to allow them to come in as a Class C social license. So I'll now hand to each one of you copies. It starts off with the prior license, and then behind it is the whole history of things that they do. I'll give you the pretty one.
Oh, let me give that to you.
And generally, they have events for the membership. They have, as indicated, about 200 members. They have events about once a month or once a week, and then they have once a month they have maybe a shrimp feast or something for their members. And if you look through it, they've done a lot of things over their time when the German ships came in to. And quite frankly, I'll be honest with you, I grew up at 1614 Eastern Avenue, which is, I didn't even know they were up there.
They must be
25.
quiet.
I didn't make it up that far sometimes. And I don't think my mother let me go up that far to Baltimore Street. To Hikins, I did go up to get a tuxedo. If you'd want to hear, Mr. Keller can give you some more information as to the organization. But same group that had the license at South Broadway, they need a license where they are.
So it's a private social club?
Right.
And the only people who will be attending will be members?
Yes, sir.
Would they bring guests?
Pardon me?
Do they bring guests?
They could. Yeah, but usually we don't
State
get
your
a lot
name.
of
Bill,
guests.
state your name for the record. No. State your name for the record.
Bill Kelleher, president of the Baltimore Kickers.
Okay. Okay, and you're open what kind of hours?
Our meetings are once a month. And right now, they're on Friday evenings, but that may change to Sunday afternoons, from 1 to 5, 1 to 6.
Okay.
One meeting a month, except for July and August. But during the year, there will probably be 8 to 10 other events. As he said, a shrimp feast, a crab feast,
Understood.
anything, minor fundraiser.
You have young members as well?
Most of us are a little bit older. One of the things that we're trying to do is get more younger members to keep the tradition going.
Understood. Commissioners have questions?
So it sounds like the license would be used just sporadically, maybe
Yes.
once a month, and whenever you have a special event.
At one of the meetings, I will say, in the building, there's a capacity for, I think the fire department says 92 people with people. Excuse me. average attendance will be between 50 and 80 people.
Okay.
The amount of, there's very little wine involved.
Because you're
An
German.
equal amount of beer, soft drinks, an equal amount of beer, soft drinks, and water is normally consumed at each meeting. And I'm saying maybe a case of beer a month. You know, that's, we're not talking about a whole lot. It's just that we have these
To be able to
regular
have it,
meetings.
Right. So I wasn't at all familiar with Baltimore Kickers, so I actually went on your website yesterday, and I read the history and all that's happened really since, I think, post-World War II. And it was just really, really impressive, and I think that's what you handed out this afternoon.
This is Michael is our website manager now. So
Good job.
Thank you.
Good job. So was
Can Italians join this organization?
Absolutely.
Anybody can.
Okay.
And we welcome new members. Thank you, sir.
yeah.
I have no
So-
questions.
Anything further?
No.
All right, on the basis of the proffers made by counsel, your testimony, Mr. Kelleher, the information that's been provided to us, I would vote to approve the application.
I would as well.
I concur.
Thank you.
Good luck
Thank
to you.
all.
Hope you have a good time.
Like call exhibits for the record, applicant exhibit 1, copy of prior license, applicant exhibit 2, history of Baltimore Kickers Club, and applicant exhibit 3, members' minutes.
Okay. Best of luck to you.
Number 5 on the AM docket, Gregory Corande and Matthew Pre, Monument City Brewing Company LLC, same as Monument City Brewing Company, 1 North Haven Street. This is a Class D beer license, an application for a new Class D beer brewery license. The request is for delivery of alcoholic beverages as well. Please come forward and raise your right hand.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do. Will you identify yourself, please?
Hi, my name is Nicole Folks. I'm with the Law Office of Nicole Folks, and I'm here representing Monument City Brewing LLC, the applicant. Here we have Matthew Pray, and Pray is Praay, and we have Gregory Corundy, and we have the brother of Matthew, Kenneth Pray.
And so tell us what the operation is going to be about.
It's a tasting room. So there's an existing brewery there today that's with a Class 5 manufacturing license that was issued by the state in January, just a few months ago. So they have the Class 5 existing brewery there, and this would be the tasting room that would accompany the brewery.
And is it people visiting the brewery who come through, go to the tasting room, or is this just sort of an addition to it? For
It's a combination of both. So if you have a tour, you can afterwards relax in the tasting room and enjoy some of the beers. But if you don't have a tour, the idea is like you still come, and here's a place where you can taste all the different Monument City beers that would be offered in one place, and there's no other place like that in the city where they have taps here and there throughout the city. Hopefully you guys are familiar with Monument City beer because they're pretty.
He is.
I'm not familiar with the German club, but that's I can agree with.
Well, we'll get to it in a moment, but they're an award-winning beer, so we hope you're familiar with them, and at least now you will be, so that's good. But the tasting room just it complements the brewery, and so the facility, we're at 1 North Haven Street. It's an industrial area, and following Hammerjacks, I got my little 8.5 by 11. There's not a complex here, but so here's a Google map that we have, and there's a red identification where 1 North Haven Street is. I'll do a little slideshow here. So if you're coming east on Baltimore Street, and when you get to the end of Baltimore Street where there's that industrial building, that's North Haven. So you see the building. Excuse me. You see the building, which now has the nice painted lettering of Monument City Brewing. The front area, which is the majority of the premises, is the brewery. To actually enter the tasting room, you have to drive a few, what would you say, like 100 yards north on North Haven, and you would have to turn right into a secured parking area and do a UE on, is that a legal word, a UE, that goes all the way back into the parking area where there's sufficient parking. I mean, there's over 100 parking spaces there. So this is the entrance into the tasting room, and I love that photo.
This is the back of
That is
what
the
we saw
back.
before.
So that is not viewable from North Haven Street. You actually have to drive through, it's a gated area, which I guess it's open all the time, at least during business hours. And you would drive around and you would fish hook around into the parking area, and they're that last
And
unit in the industrial.
What hours would the tasting room be open?
Well, right now, they're thinking 5 to 8, 5 to 9, 3 nights a week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. They're going to kind of gauge, see how it goes, and then expand upon it, depending on demand. Right now, it's a family-run operation. We have Matt there. I was asking Matt about how many hours he's there a week, and I said, is 80 a good call? And he said, at least. Because Matt and Ken are doing the brewing, and they're there. And then Ken's wife, Kim Prey, is also very active in the building, in the business, and she'll be part of the, operations of the tasting room. Now, inside, okay, if you walk through the front door, do that, and I might as well do this one too. You can see the bar area, and there's something unique about this place. Their next door neighbor, who we have a letter of support from, which I believe is already in the file, but I'll hand that to you just in case. Their next door neighbor is a woodworking company. And Ken, do you want to talk about the partnership you created with them and what they did for your company?
Sure, no problem. My name's Kenneth Prey, P-R-A-A-Y. Just one correction, Saturdays 12 to 5 only. We do like to sleep and go home and see our families. So yeah, our neighbor, Mark Supik, some of you may know, he's been in that building or that complex for over 30 years. If you see our wood doors, Mark actually made those. All of our tap handles are made through Mark, so we work very closely with him and cross-promote each other's businesses. Now, I will say Mark's been making tap handles probably close to 30 years, so we're not the only local brewery that utilizes him.
How long have you been there?
We just took over the space in November, started our build-out. Production started late January, early February on the beer side.
How many people do you employ?
We have 5 total people. That includes my brother and I. And we're looking to expand 2 people on the brew side.
And there's something special about the wood that Mr. Supik used, correct?
Uh,
There's a neat story behind the
yeah.
wood, and it was also used in your bar, correct?
That is correct. So the wood is actually from the old Melville distillery here. So it's the old tanks that were taken down. So they're 110-ish plus years old, which is kind of cool.
Very nice.
We have another support letter from the Brewers Hill Neighborhood Group. If I could just talk real quickly about, they've met with several community groups, have been very open with talking about their business. Brewers Hill, they have the letter of support, and they actually just met with them yesterday. Highlandtown, Patterson Park, and Butchers Hill, they all have met with in the past winter. I mean, they just were licensed in January of 2017, and so they have been meeting with different community groups and getting the word out about the brewery, about the anticipated tasting room. So that's.
Commissioners have questions?
What's been the response of the community associations that you've met with?
I'll let you talk about it.
It's been fantastic. Actually, we just had an email from the Patterson Park where unfortunately they were unable to get it to us in time, but we could also send that in. But it's been fantastic. I mean, the community is really what supports our business. It's what helps us sell beer, and it's what helps us
You
get
should work out a
recognized.
deal with the Kickers. They like beer.
Really?
When I could run, I used to play against them.
I also had a question on the ownership breakdown. It looks like Kenneth Prey is 34%,
Correct?
and
34.3.
all right, can you just tell me what the,
Matthew is 30.3, and Mr. Karandi is 5%.
so, wait, Matthew is 30.3,
30.3,
and Kenneth is 34?
34.3. Are you trying to get it to 100?
Yes.
Is that, the poker face, you looked like the math wasn't working. So
So, my question is, who owns the remaining percentage?
we submitted into the record, Mr. Okra had called me back in March, asking for a complete layout of the entire ownership structure. So we have provided that to you already. Hopefully that is in your record.
I mean, there are multiple people who own the other shares.
It's an LLC, so they have membership interests that they purchased.
That are under 5%.
Correct.
Is that-
The-
okay.
the- Greg Carondi is the only one with, other than Matt and I, with 5% or more.
Okay.
So the LLC owns the balance, and the LLC is owned by multiple people?
Right, it's an LLC that has a membership structure, and so, how many owners? What, you have like 20?
Well, it's 8 total.
Oh, eight.
Eight total members.
Math was
So
off.
just for clarity, because if it's in here, I didn't see it, and if I saw it, I don't remember it, and if I don't remember it, it just like never happened. So I calculated there was 26% that's not designated. Do I have that right?
No, 100% of the membership interests have a name or an entity connected to it.
I have
100%.
26% doesn't have a name attached to it. So that 26% is owned by who or what?
Do you happen to know of the names of your, the membership owners?
Well,
I'll pull it up on my phone.
Yeah, I think this is what we provided to,
Right, it was provided to, so I didn't bring a
So-
copy of
provided it to who?
to Mr. Akras. Akras.
To Mr. Akris.
Akris, sorry.
Oh.
Sorry.
It's like, who's she
Wrong
talking
pronunciation,
about?
sorry.
So there are, in
Okay.
addition to the two of you,
Have that.
6 other members of the LLC.
I think there's 8 in addition to Matt
8
and
in
I.
addition to
Yeah.
you. Okay, so there's.
One of the 8 is
Okay.
Mr. Carondi.
So there's 7 who aren't here.
Right, and the
and they
math-
own interest below 5%.
Correct, and the math is correct in that it adds up to
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
When I didn't print it up, it's Murphy's Law.
Any-
So, okay, that's it. But there are you do know there are other breweries that have tasting rooms in the city?
Yes.
Okay.
ma'am.
All right. And do you cooperate with them? Do you collaborate
Yes,
with them?
we,
Speaking, because I'm having a hard time following the record. So only one person can speak at a time. Thank you.
So just identify yourself and then give the answer real quick,
Kenneth Prey, yes, ma'am.
okay? And you do collaborate with them or,
Quite often, yes, ma'am.
all right, thank you.
I have no questions. You cleared it.
Okay. Anything further, counsel?
No, I just wanted to mention that the applicants are familiar with the rules and regulations of the liquor board. They're all familiar with the process of checking IDs of customers, all of them. And Matt and Ken are actually anticipating to take the alcohol awareness training this month. If they can't do it this month, they'll try to get the next one. But with that, for these reasons, and also based on 2207E of the Alcoholic Beverage Act article of the Maryland Annotated Code, we respectfully ask that the board approves this Class D license.
Okay. On the basis of the information that you've provided, the testimony that you've provided, and the exhibits that have been received, I would vote to approve.
I would vote to approve.
I concur. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Good
sir.
luck, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I have one item for you guys. I'd like to call the exhibits for the record. Applicant Exhibit 1, aerial map. Applicant Exhibit 2, building photos, 2 photos. Applicant Exhibit 3, 2 photos of interior. Applicant Exhibit 4, letter of support dated May 12, 2017 from neighboring business. Applicant Exhibit 5, letter of support, Brewers Hill Neighborhood Association. Thank you.
The last on the AM docket, Mr. Chairman, Muna Karki and Ashish Bandari Kishar BD LLC, trading as Broadway Liquors, 628-30 South Broadway. This is a Class A beer, wine, and liquor license, an application to transfer ownership. Please come forward and raise your right hand.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Is it counsel?
Good afternoon, Stephen W. Fogelman. Before I begin, I was going to say something about Mr. Akris. Accra is the favorite delicacy of Guadeloupe, the French island, and I couldn't order it without thinking of Mr. Akris every time I saw it on the menu. And he walked out, so. Okay, thank you. We're here this morning, or this afternoon, on a simple transfer of ownership of a bar that is, or I'm sorry, a liquor store that's been operated by the same gentleman for over 30 years in Fells Point, and he's sold to my clients, Muna Karki and Ashish Bandari. Broadway Liquors is known as a place in Fells Point to special order exotic wines from abroad. And Mr. Yandasik, the current owner, has a great order list and a great rapport with customers. So, in that regard, enter Muna Karki, who is no stranger to the alcoholic beverage business. Ms. Karki has managed Howard Discount Liquors at 3 North Howard Street for the last 7 years. Her husband is the licensee there. He's present here today. Ms. Karki has, and her management at Howard Discount Liquors have no violations whatsoever, have a good rapport with inspectors, a good rapport with the downtown partnership, and quite frankly, they're in one of the highest trafficked locations in the city, right at the corner of Howard and the light rail. Baltimore. I'm so sorry. Right at the First Mariner Arena and right at the light rail, a lot of traffic, and a lot of traffic can, just by nature of volume, can cause problems. And they've really had no problems whatsoever. Ms. Karki is a very good manager and is diligent. She's been certified, alcohol management certified for years. So enter Ashish Bandari, who is a 50% partner in the venture. Mr. Bandari is an IT professional with no significant prior experience in alcoholic retail industry. He is very blessed because he is being shepherded into this business by Ms. Karki, who is, again, a veteran of the industry.
Is this operation larger or smaller than Howard Discount?
It is smaller. It's significantly smaller. And the applicants met with both the Fells Point Residents Association and the Fells Point Community Organization. The Fells Point Residents Association basically said, after the meeting, they said, "Are you guys doing lottery?" And they said no. And they said, "Wonderful." And they unanimously supported the transfer. In the case of the Fells Point Community Organization, there were some questions. They wanted them to agree to close at 11 instead of at midnight as the license allows. There is a licensee less than a block and a half away called Bristol Liquors, which operates under a BD7 license, and it is open until 2 a.m. 7 days a week. And there's been no real problems, from what I understand. It was relatively controversial expansion back at the time in 2015, but I don't think there's been any problems with Bristol Liquors since then. So of course, my clients want to stay open until midnight. Additionally, there was
leave their meeting with the community association.
With the Fells Point Community Organization, I believe that Ms. Massapust did send an email to the board a couple days ago, indicating many of these questions that I'm going to raise and talk about, but ultimately saying that the organization supports the transfer.
Okay. I mean, I think it'd be important to us that there be ongoing dialogue.
No question.
As they get going.
And part of, I think, if there's any concern at all in the community, it's that Mr. Yondasik was a 30-year neighbor, so to speak. And so anytime you lose a long-time tenant, a long-time business owner, it's a little bit frightening. We also were told at the Fells Point Community Organization meeting that Mr. Yondasik did not provide certain products to his customers, and the organization, some of the members asked if we would, or if the licensee here would, agree to restrict the sale of certain items. Those items were described to us at the meeting as miniatures, half pints, pints, fortified wine, and malt liquor. My clients have visited Mr. Yondasik's location on many times as they're purchasing the business for over $300,000 and entering into a long-term lease. And they discovered that, in fact, Mr. Yondasik does sell miniatures. He has an entire case right by the cash register of miniatures. He serves half pints, single beers. He does not serve does not sell fortified wine, and the applicants here have no intention of selling fortified wine, like I said, nor lottery. So these are. Sometimes it's very difficult because the community association members are they are the experts of the neighborhood. Nobody knows the neighborhood better than them. But when somebody steps in who has experience in the liquor retail business, it's difficult for them to understand if they've had no problem, for example, selling $4 miniatures of Johnny Walker Blue at 3 North Howard Street. They can't understand why it would be a problem in Fells Point to do the same thing, because they've done it with no problems in the past. So they respect the community's position here, but they also will be vigilant and will be good neighbors and continuing members of both associations.
Okay, just for the record, Ms. Joanne Massapust, who is the president of the Fells Point Community Organization, did provide Mr. Page with an email, which is somewhat lengthy. She wanted it read into the record. It will be received in evidence.
Thank you.
The critical part of this is that there was discussion about the closing hours, and she says it's not my intention to hinder the applicants from managing this business nor to delay the transfer. It's my understanding they have a good track record at Howard Discount. The current owner of Broadway Liquors has told me he's discussed with the applicants what he's done to prevent problems with vagrants in the area. Thought they were open to maintaining the same practices, and this establishment is in the heart of Fells Point, and it's important to residents that the new owners operate the business in a way that does not create problems for us. So they voted to support the transfer, and I just would encourage you all to continue to have communication with them and to try to work with them if problems develop.
They're excited to be a part of the community.
Okay. Is there anything, commissioners?
Well, the letter says that the applicants will provide a list of products that they will not carry, and that list will be added to the license as a condition.
Right.
What's
We
the
had
status
we
of
had
that?
talked about discussing that, but there was no agreement that the licensees were going to or to place a condition or restrictions on the license forbidding them from selling certain items. And in fact, as I just mentioned, there's some great confusion as to what is being sold there, because the couple members of FIPCO seem to think that many things were not for sale at the Broadway Liquors that indeed were for sale there as late as yesterday. So we are declining to enter into a list of, or into a license restriction forbidding them from selling half pints, miniatures, and the like.
Okay, so I guess my concern is that when we do hear of problems in communities, those are the very products that seem to be driving a lot of the problems. So
Absolutely.
I just want to hear a little bit more about
Maybe
the
Ms. Karki.
declination of that
Sure.
request.
Or perhaps Ms. Karki can explain her business at 3 North Howard Street and her observances and experiences with her business vis-a-vis these specific items. Ms. Karki?
Briefly?
Very briefly.
Hi, my name is Muna Karki. We do sell the miniature and Howard Liquor, 3 North Howard Street, but we don't sell like Mad Dog 2020 and stuff like that, very cheap stuff. The small miniature we sell is like $3 and up. So we're gonna continue doing that in Fells Point.
And you're not going to have lottery?
No.
Because you determined that can cause loitering?
Yes.
Right. And you're not, and you told me the other night, you don't sell rolling papers,
Oh, we
things
don't
like
sell
that.
rolling paper or anything in Howard Street too.
Little roses in a glass case?
No, we
Okay.
don't do that.
Thank you. And
Thank you.
further questions from the commissioner?
Commissioner Greenfield, you have?
So, just so I understand, the current owner, does he or does he not sell these miniatures?
He does sell them.
He does, okay, thank you.
I guess the only other thing I would add from this email sort of lays out challenges in communication.
Yeah,
And that's always a concern. And I think if there are going to be problems, most of them can be resolved by communication. So
I
I would
agree.
hope that going forward, what's laid out here is part of the past. It won't be part of the future.
Absolutely. And as you can see from that email, some of those communication challenges were with me. I have spoken to Ms. Massapust since that email was written. So,
Okay.
yes, and will continue to.
Okay.
And have quite a bit of respect for her and have let the applicants know that they need to be involved with both of the community groups in Fells Point.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, on the basis then of the evidence that's been presented to us, the testimony from the applicant, and the proffers of counsel, I'd vote to approve the transfer.
I'm sorry. Just for clarity, are you closing at 11 or are you closing at midnight?
I mean, it's a business decision. They want
what
to
is
close
the
at midnight.
decision? All I wanna know is
their
the
decision is,
decision.
wait, what they want to do is they want to stay open until midnight.
Okay.
If they determine that it is
That's all
not
I
profitable.
asked. That's all I
Right,
asked.
right.
Thank you very much. I concur with the approval.
I concur as well.
Thank you.
Thank you and good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, email support dated May 16, 2017, from Fells Point Community Organization. Thank you.
I think that's the morning docket. We'll reconvene at 1:30.
1:30?
Is that okay?
Would it be okay with you?
Yeah, I'm just gonna have to.
Let's deal with it. Okay.
1:30,
All right.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
If you have an electronic device, please place the said device on quiet for offload during proceedings. Mr. Chairman, there is a preliminary matter, number 2 on the PM docket, 1232 Light Street, an application to transfer ownership. That request has been postponed and will be scheduled for a later date and time.
Thank you.
The very first case on the afternoon docket, Tay Kona, Jason O. Inc., trading as B&J Liquor Store, 1801 East Federal Street. This is a Class A beer, wine, and liquor license. An application to transfer ownership. Please come forward.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. Ty Kim on behalf of the applicants in this case.
Good afternoon, Mr. Kim. Can I ask them to raise their right hands, please?
Spell your first name, Mr.
And we have an interpreter here
Yes,
as well.
She'll get a separate swearing.
I don't have your name, Mr. Kim. Ty.
Tae, last name Kim, Kim.
And raise your right hand, ma'am. Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
여기서 지금 진술하실 말씀이 사실밖에 말 안 하신다고요? 네. Yes.
And
The interpreter, what was your name real quick before we start?
My name?
Yes.
Heapark.
And do you swear or affirm to interpret this hearing to the best of your ability? That's about all I have for you.
It's hot. It's really hot.
Okay. Mr. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you.
Oh, before you start, Jason O. Inc. showed up on my conflict sheet. Do you know if they've ever been represented by Whiteford, Taylor, and Preston?
그 제이슨 O 잉크가 그 회사 이름이요.
네.
Whiteford, Taylor, Preston 변호사 사무실에서 같이 일한 적이 있어요?
아니요.
Not that she recalls, no.
You have no objection to me?
No
hearing-
objection, Your Honor.
Okay. Please go proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just very briefly before I begin, Ms. O is currently a licensee on this particular license. The reason for this transfer is that last year she went through a divorce with her husband of many, many years. She has been a licensee at this location for approximately 25 years at this point. So it's just basically our request to remove her husband as a licensee on this matter in light of the transfer of the stock to Mrs. O as part of the divorce.
Okay. So there was either a judgment or a settlement agreement in which it was to be conveyed to her?
That's correct. And the settlement agreement, separation agreement was made part of the package that was submitted on July 21st.
Okay. And so there's nobody objecting to this at this point?
That's correct.
Okay, so she will then be the sole licensee?
That's correct.
And everything else will remain the same?
That's correct.
Commissioners have any questions?
No.
I do not.
Okay, anything further?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
I vote to approve the transfer.
I approve.
I concur.
No exhibits.
Thank you, good
Thank
luck.
you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Question, the name was Ty Kuno, it was Kuno on here, but
But it's actually the middle name and the O is the last name.
yeah, there was.
Let's combine together. Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Kim. Mr. Kim. Thank you.
Jin Suk Cho and James Amato, Jin Suk Inc., trading as Urban Cellars and Spirits, 222 North Charles Street. This is a Class A beer, wine, and liquor license, an application to transfer ownership and requesting delivery of alcoholic beverages. Please come forward.
For the record, Melvin J. Kadensky, I'm representing the applicant.
Good afternoon. Would you folks raise your right hands, please?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do.
This is a transfer of an existing license at 222 North Charles Street. Actually, it's very close to Planter's Peanuts, right next door to it. Mr. Amato has been the licensee there for 9 years. He will continue to stay on the license with Ms. Cho and operate in the same manner they did before. The building is owned by Southern Management there. I think Johns Hopkins has a school in that same building. And we no change. Ms. Cho had previously had experience in operating the Village Package Goods store in Delaware for about 2.5, 3 years. She's had no problems, never had any violations. Same thing with Mr. Amato. There's never been any violations. Her husband's here. They've taken the alcohol awareness course. They've been fingerprinted. They're familiar with the rules and regulations of the liquor board. And other than that, it'll be a straight transfer. They're not going to change any of the hours of operation or any way the business is operated.
Okay, so I'm sorry. Who had the license before?
Ms. Cho.
Ms. Cho, and now it's going to be held by.
No, Mr. Amato had this license.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Yeah, this one.
Okay.
Ms. Cho had one in Delaware.
Okay.
Now she's coming here to operate here along with her husband. And Mr. Amato is going to stay on
Just for
to help familiarize them and know the type of business. It's not your typical liquor store that's down an area. It's an area that's across the street from the church
Charles
there.
Plaza there,
Yeah.
isn't it? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Across from St. Paul's. Yes.
Right, and that's, so they have the hotels right across the street. Used to be Old Bumai Temple.
Okay. Do the commissioners have questions?
I do not.
I do. Our information indicates that Ms. Cho, who have a 99.5% ownership, lives in Dover, Delaware.
For now.
So,
Or you just moved in?
Well, you got to tell. You give your name and you got to say your name.
I'm sorry.
Give your name.
Oh, this is Alex Park.
That's the husband. Go ahead.
Yes.
okay, so my concern, and hopefully you can address this, is there any plan to move to Baltimore?
Yes, sir.
And what is that plan?
As soon as we can, get the apartment.
You can get the what?
We get the apartment in this Charles Plaza.
Okay, so you're working on doing that now?
Yeah, yes, absolutely.
Because
They've moved in. Well, I mean, it's like basically, yes.
okay, so just
When you apply for these, we have to use a previous, we don't have any appointed apartment, like a room yet.
now I understand when you filed the application, if I'm following you, you hadn't made plans yet to move. My concern is 99.5% of the ownership is based in Dover, Delaware, which to me means that the owner will not be there on a frequent basis or as frequent as necessary. So that's why I asked the question with respect to making sure that there is some plan that's being executed to make sure that the owner is here on a regular basis.
I mean, we're already here, so we already.
They're already here, and they're going to get a permanent place in 222 in the apartments.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Just to clarify, you're already here. Where do you live now?
Well, we're applying for the apartment.
Where do you live today?
Where?
Yes.
Oh, our cousin's house.
Okay, and is that in the Baltimore
Yes, it's very close, Ellicott City.
and Ellicott City? So currently you live in Ellicott City.
Right. Well, I mean, like temporarily until we get the.
And that's short term, and and it sounds like you've made application for an apartment at 222 or near.
Yes, ma'am.
Same
Same building. Yes.
In the same building, and once that's approved, you'll move in.
Absolutely.
And you'll be within an elevator ride almost.
Yes. It's,
From the store. Okay, and it's the statement was that you were somebody's husband. Whose husband are you? Who are you married to?
Legally married, but I'm a spouse. Actually, I'm living with her.
Well, let me tell you something. If there's not a ring on it, you're not married. So you are partners with,
I'm an operator, so basically, yes.
you're an operator.
Well, with her.
I think, sir, your counsel would be kicking you if he were next to you. I think it's perhaps time to stop talking.
Arrows, fade to black, let's go.
Yeah, fade to black. You're together, you and she.
They're an
Okay.
item.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Anything further?
Nothing further.
Okay. On the basis of the materials that we have that proffers from counsel and testimony, I'd vote to approve the transfer.
I approve.
I concur.
Good luck to you, folks.
Thank you very much.
No exhibits for the record.
Alex?
Anthony Romeo Ware and Michael Barber, Boysick Inc., trading as Charles Village Pub, 3107 St. Paul Street. This is a Class B beer, wine, and liquor license. An application to transfer ownership with continuation of outdoor table service and requesting live entertainment. Please come forward.
Thank you.
Abraham Hurdle on behalf of Bosky Inc., trading as the Charles Village Pub. With me is Anthony Romero Weir and Miss Sandra Sparks from the Charles Village Civic Association.
Good afternoon. Can I ask them to raise their right hands, please?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Yes.
And before we get started, I apologize. I'm not sure if Ms. Moore, I understand that you have some familiarity with the Charles Village Civic Association, and I'm not sure if we need to have anyone recused.
I don't think so.
That's all I was wondering, is what you
But
think.
yeah, I'll put on the record, I'm a past president of the Charles Village Civic Association. I live about maybe 3 blocks walking from the Charles Village Pub. I frequent the pub. I probably go past it every day when I walk my dog.
And I just wanted to clarify,
Yeah,
not
so-
to ask, and I know you frequent the bar, and I just didn't want your
No,
bias
I
for the
don't,
bar
I don't
to hurt
frequent the
Civic
bar like,
Association.
I'm not there regular, but I do go in there. So I don't feel like I need to recuse myself.
That's all
Do
I'm
you feel like I need to recuse myself? Okay, thank you.
And while we're on that page, Michael Barber and Charles Village Pub showed up on my conflict sheets. Do we have a conflict?
No, Michael Barber, absolutely not. And Charles Village Pub, that may be the previous owner, so we're going to say no.
Okay. All right, so we're here to transfer ownership, is that correct?
Yes, the transfer of ownership is, Bosky Inc. is the current ownership as it sits. My client is buying the interest in Bosky Inc., so it's actually just a transfer of interest as opposed to transfer of, I guess, technically of ownership, change of licensees perhaps. Mr. Weir has been the manager at the location for 8 years. He has been a Baltimore resident for 36 years, but I wanted to correct the record, for 16 years recently. His application does say 36. Apparently there was some, brief move to White Marsh and then back for 6 months.
We're glad he came back.
Absolutely,
Subtle
of
line.
course. Mr. Barber's been a resident for 40 years of the city. And Mr. Barber, the 1% owner, does not have experience in the industry, is my knowledge. But again, Mr. Weir has, at this time, I think how long have you worked there?
12 to 13 years.
12 and a half years, let's say, and manager for 8 years.
And
So
they have a
certainly-
clean record?
It is my understanding there have been no violations during Mr. Weir's management, and I anticipate there will be none going forward. Leading up to this transfer, we met with the Charles Village Civic Association at their offices, and Ms. Sparks was generous enough to sit down with us on a different occasion to iron out any concerns and confusion regarding the MOU that we have signed. I have numerous copies with me. I think a copy was put into the record as well as a letter of support. And I do have 6 copies. I will submit one today to the board. It is not fully signed by Mr. Barber or Mr. Wilgus, who is the landlord, but we will execute the other 5 copies in full and deliver one back to the board.
Okay, if you give that to Ms. Russell, we'll make it part of the record, along with Ms. Sparks' letter.
And we would indicate that we absolutely feel bound by this letter as of today. We will still get it authorized and signed, but it's just a matter of those 2
So,
individuals are not here right now.
Your client understands that if we approve the transfer, it's subject to the terms of the MOU.
Absolutely, and I think part of the agreement indicates that this will amount to, I'm not sure if it says it in specifically, but that it's a license restriction, but we absolutely feel that that is the case.
Okay, well, it will be the case.
Fine.
Okay. Any questions from commissioners?
I need to note that
Yes.
the letter from the Charles Village Civic Association, I inadvertently put it on the previous year's letterhead.
Are you Ms. Sparks?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, okay, I just want to make sure.
So I brought down fresh copies now, so it'll,
Okay.
so we need you to understand that that was.
Okay, we didn't even notice, but thank you.
No, I didn't notice
I
until I went to
appreciate-
print it.
I appreciate the point. Is there anything further you want to add?
No, I think we've had yes, I'd like to add that we've had a very amenable agreement, working it out for the operation, which has a good reputation, and delighted that the facade will have major improvements as part of the process.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you for appearing. Commissioners, anything?
No.
Then on the basis of the matters contained in the application, the testimony and proffer presented today, as well as the exhibits received, I'd vote to approve the transfer.
Can I defer to Commissioner Greenfield?
I concur as well.
And I concur.
Wonderful.
Okay,
You'll be
thank you.
excused.
Good luck.
Thank you.
I have one thing for you, Mr. Hurdle. Give me 1 second. I pull exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, letter of support from Charles Village Civic Association. Board Exhibit 2, MOU between applicants and Charles Village Civic Association. Thank you.
Dixon, Boateng, and Joseph Harvey, Akema LLC, trading as Dreams Inn, 525-29 East Patapsco Avenue. This is a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license. An application to transfer ownership. Please come forward.
For the record, Melvin J. Kadensky, 19 East Fayette Street, representing the applicants.
Good afternoon. May I ask you folks to raise your right hands, please?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes. This is a transfer of an existing license in an existing location. Ms. Reinsfelder is here. She's been there 20-plus years, 26. And she's familiar with the community group. She belongs to community groups. She is actually going to stay on with the current applicant because he doesn't have as much experience in the business, and she's committed to stay on with most of the people that are now working there. It's the Patapsco Avenue area is near the district court, a couple blocks away from the district court. And once again, I do have some pictures for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Give you an idea where it is. It's a 87 operation. The applicant has taken the alcohol awareness course and have a certificate.
Thank you.
Previously, when he had his own business, now he wants to go into the alcoholic beverage business. There are not going to be any changes in the mode and method of the operation. It's going to be the same hours they had now. The city resident, Mr. Harvey, is retired at this point. He's basically going to help out as needed, but he's not going to be functionally do a lot of work in there. Ms. Reinsfelder probably is going to have him meet all the people in the area. She's going to introduce him to the community group and actually have him join the community group and continue on that line.
And how do you say your name, sir? Boateng?
Dixon Boateng, yes.
Okay. And how old are you, sir?
I'm 53.
You don't look it.
Thank you.
And what business were you in?
I own a couple of cabs, taxi drivers.
Taxi cabs? Okay. You know you're getting into a difficult business.
Yes.
Okay. Thank God you have this lady who has a lot of experience to guide you through.
Yes.
Okay. How long are you going to stay on, ma'am?
As long as possible.
Oh, okay. So you have no intention of retiring or anything like
Yes,
that?
I'm going to retire, but
I mean, not immediately.
not immediately, no.
What was the community group you were telling me, not for Brooklyn?
Citizens for a Better Brooklyn?
Okay. And you belong, you're going to make sure he become a member, is that correct?
Yes.
Tricia Reinsfelder, current licensee.
Okay. Commissioners have questions?
So you, Mr. Boateng, you live in Parkville.
Yes, ma'am.
How far do you live from this location?
It might be about roughly like 9 miles.
9 miles?
Yes.
What is your plan like for day-to-day presence at?
I'm going to be there for 40 to 60 hours a week, and I'm planning if everything is settled, I'm gonna look a place around there because it's too far to move all the time. So I'm planning to look around and see if I can get a place around there.
So you want to move closer?
Yes.
Do you plan to change the operations much? No changes?
Nothing
Okay.
is changed.
Okay, all right, thank you.
No, I'm good.
Okay. Thank you. On the basis of the testimony this afternoon, the application materials, the exhibits, and the proffers from council, I'd vote to approve the transfer.
I vote to approve.
I concur.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I call
Good luck.
this-
Thank you. It's the end to a new beginning.
Yes.
Yes. Another chapter.
Give me 1 second, Mr. Kaczynski.
Turn the page.
I'd call the exhibits for the record. Applicant Exhibit 1, photos. Applicant Exhibit 2, aerial map. And Applicant Exhibit 3, alcohol awareness certification. Thank you. I'll get you one. I thought I had-
Song A. An and Dolores Johnson, ACA Liquors, Inc., trading as Eric 500, 500 East North Avenue. This is a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license. An application to transfer ownership. Please come forward.
Hi, there. My name is Detective Julian Min. I'm with the Baltimore City Homicide Unit. One of the services that we do provide is a transfer.
Wait just a second.
Yeah.
I need your first name now.
And Detective, can you step up to the mic and speak into it, please, and tell us your name again? Julian?
Yes, Julian. Last name is Min.
Min, okay. Good afternoon. And can I ask everyone to raise their right hands, please?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And Detective, what is your connection with the case?
I am going to be translating for Mrs. Tan.
Oh, okay, okay. Do you need to swear him in differently, Mr. Bryson?
Yeah, I just don't have the interpreter oath on me right now.
Okay, well, do you,
What language? I mean, last time you didn't tell me which language was part of the oath.
For the city, Korean. For Baltimore City.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to translate this hearing to the best of your ability from Korean to English and English to Korean?
I do, sir.
okay. So, this is a transfer, it's an existing license, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and who's transferring to whom?
Supposedly Mr. Byung-uk An, he's the current owner, which is going to be transferred to his wife.
Okay, and is there a reason for that?
I believe that the Eric 500, as you know, has some issues in the past prior. I believe that Mr. An was heavily relying on his employees to run the daily operations, where now Mrs. An will be more hands-on.
Okay, and more hands-on means that on a daily basis, she's going to be there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And this is a liquor store?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so it's open how many days a week?
7 days.
7 days, okay. She's going to be there every day?
I believe so.
Okay, and these folks, what is their connection?
Ms. Lori Johnson is also a part owner. I think she has 0.5%. And we have a support from the president of the Old Goucher Community Association.
And sir, can you tell us your name, please?
Sure. My name is Kelly Cross,
Okay.
president of the Old Goucher Community Association, and we've been working with a number of communities around Old Goucher, Greenmount West in particular, the Greenmount West Community Association. We're actually looking to start helping Eric 500 reposition itself. It's been a bit of a problem, I think, in years past, but we recognize it's at a very important intersection of North and Greenmount. And a strategy we're taking in the Old Goucher community and some of the other surrounding communities is to start using alcohol outlets, particularly BD7 license holders, as sort of anchors for economic redevelopment in their areas. So we're actually coordinating what's going to be a great event later this year in the Eric 500 bar, bringing some talent from Remington and Old Goucher to work in the bar for certain events. And we really want to help that become a magnet for more positive activity in the area.
Are you familiar with Ms. An?
I am.
Okay, and you believe she's capable of doing this?
I do.
Yes. So you support the transfer?
That's correct. I do.
Okay. Commissioners have questions?
So, so Eric 500 has had problems over the years, and they've been in front of us to sort of have on the violations docket.
에릭 500은 그 가게가 있잖아요. 옛날에는 몇 년 동안 문제가 있어서 이분들 앞에서 서서 있었었어요. 문제가.
Did you know that?
알고 계셨습니까? 알고 있었죠? 네.
Yes. Okay. So, because you're at the intersection of Greenmount and North Avenues, correct?
그 가게가 지금 그린마운트하고 노스 애버뉴 사이에 있죠.
So very, very busy intersection.
굉장히 바쁜.
So, but over the last year or so, is it fair to say you've been working more with the community associations?
근데 요새 말씀하셨잖아요. 커뮤니티하고요. 지금 일하고 계시죠.
Yes. And do you feel that things are going in the right direction in terms of being more positively involved with the community?
이제 커뮤니티하고 있잖아요. 앞으로 더 좋은 성과가 이룰 수 있을 거라고 믿습니까? Yes.
So, Ms. Johnson, how are you feeling?
Fine.
Good, because we saw you as we were leaving the building, and you seemed like you were a little overheated, but you're okay. Good, okay. And so what is your understanding of what your role will be with respect to Eric 500? And why don't you come on up a little bit closer to the microphone?
And what were you asking me?
So my question is, what you're just a 5% owner, but do you live near the?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and how far away from the Eric 500 do you live?
See, I'm like right behind Rite Aid.
You live near the Rite Aid?
Yes.
So you're right across from the cemetery, near the Rite Aid. Okay, so you're not far at all. Do you plan to be at the location much?
Yes.
You do? Okay, and you're ready to take on the responsibilities?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Johnson.
Actually, she just has a half of 1%.
Oh, okay. Okay. I thought I said 0.5.
It does.
Okay.
The other one has 99.5?
Right, yeah,
Okay.
okay.
We're lawyers, not mathematicians. So just a comment, Mr. Chairman. I think this is the first time in my recollection where we've had the community here to work with the licensee to help reposition. And so I give you both a lot of credit given the history. Do you need me to slow down?
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. I'll start over if that. I think it's the first time that we've seen.
그 가게에서 있잖아. 이번에 처음으로 있잖아요. 동네 커뮤니티에서 있잖아요. 같이 하는 거예요.
The community here to assist.
처음 보고 또 도와주고 커뮤니티에서.
The licensee in repositioning.
네, 그러니까 가게를 앞으로 발전을 위하여.
Itself, given its history.
그리고 옛날에 비해서 이제 발전을 더하게.
And I give both parties a lot of credit for doing that.
커뮤니티하고 가게 중을 굉장히 찬성합니다.
And encourage, from my viewpoint, I think the staff, we should, I'd like to sort of be kept abreast, be kept, updated on this just as a matter of interest, or the staff to be updated as this goes forward.
그 가게 문제가 있기 때문에 이 앞에 있는 사람들이 앞으로 진짜 잘 되고 그런 걸 보고 싶답니다.
Thank you.
감사합니다.
I just wanted to, Mr. Page pointed out that this is the second time that you've come to ask for the transfer. The first time was in January 2016. Excuse me, and the transfer was approved, but it wasn't completed within 180 days.
That the application did not transfer within required 180 days, so they had to reapply, refile for the application, and doing it all over.
And that's why you're here today,
Yes, ma'am.
to perfect that. So the last comment I make, that area is changing rapidly. It's quite amazing, the changes that have happened, and they're so positive. And it's your desire to be part of that positive change.
그 앞으로 이제 바뀌는 걸 있잖아요. 같이 하고 싶다는 말이시죠?
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Anything further? Okay, I'll try to go slowly.
Yes,
On
sir.
the basis of the materials in the application,
지금 다 본 걸 봐서
the testimony we've heard this afternoon,
다 이분들 말 듣고
including the support from from Mr. Cross and the Old Goucher Association,
오기아우츠 커뮤니티 회장님하고 서포트 주는 거를
and your responses to the board's questions.
그리고 뭘 대해서 물어본 대답을
I'm satisfied that you've met the qualifications for transfer.
퀄리피케이션을 받고 트랜스퍼를 찬성합니다.
I vote to approve it.
and approve합니다. 감사합니다.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
I join in the approval of the request for transfer, and just wanted to say it is novel that the communities collectively would become involved and help with the repositioning, and it's a fresh model. It's exciting and very hopeful for great success.
커미셔너 대라모는 지금 다른 분하고 같이 다 찬성하고 앞으로 발전하고 동네에서 같이 합의하는 거를 대단히 찬성하고 고맙다고.
And I agree.
And 커미셔너 에런 그린필드 찬성합니다.
Thank you and good luck.
Best of luck.
Thank
Thank you very much. Oh, can I make one modification? Apparently,
I don't
the name that is spelled wrong. It's
Oh.
actually SUNG.
Uh-huh.
Instead of it was typed SING. So
Ms. On, you mean?
yeah,
Yes, sir. Okay.
SUNG. So
Thank you.
thank you.
Take care.
We have exhibits?
Mr. Ming, no exhibits for the record. Mr. Ming.
Okay, I think that concludes our docket. And thank everybody.
Chairman, the board is in recess until 11 a.m., June the 1st, 2017.
This is beautiful.